coming up on Outdoor Oklahoma.
You know, he and I love being with each other, and this is something that we can do together.
That is fantastic. Oh, that's great.
Jack, look at that fish.
Boy, dip that salmon. Look at that. Good job, baby.
Much flavor that comes out of that first bite. You get that rosemary right off the top. Oh, you got him. You got him, Emily.
Oh!
Nice mess of blue cat we have right there.
Ready.
Now folks, this is what we're after. This is what you get in Outdoor Oklahoma.
Outdoor Oklahoma is brought to you by the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation, sharing the beauty, the adventure, and the spirit of Oklahoma's wild places.
So fishing, bass fishing specifically, has really been the common thread of my whole life, and that all started on a fishing trip with my dad when I was about 16 years old. Right in the middle of a great trip, he says, "So what do you think you want to be when you grow up?" Because he was thinking about his work at the time, and I'm like, I don't know, a dentist? I don't know, Dad. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, just promise me that whatever you do, you'll do something you love. And those words really guided the rest of my life. Certainly, I think this office reflects the fact that this sport has been a part of my life since I was a teenager, before it was even my profession. You'll see a tournament entry form from when I was a 16-year-old kid to the early Lowrance product. I started my career at Lowrance Electronics in Tulsa. Just so many mementos from my time spent covering professional tournaments for 17 or 18 years. The time I spent at Terminator Fishing Lures, you'll find a lot of that in my office. You know, I've been so fortunate. I've made my living for 30 years in and around bass fishing, and one thing that I always observed or noted was the women that stood behind some of the most successful men ever in the sport, whether it was Sherry Van Dam, wife of Kevin Van Dam, or whether it was Tammy Cook, wife of Ken Cook. I always realized, man, if you're going to pick a life's mate, talking to myself, you better have a woman like that understands this sport, understands that you've got this passion for this, that it's not going to go away, and it's going to be a very dominant part of my life. So if I find a life's mate, she'd better understand and hopefully support that, but ultimately be a part of that. I've talked to guys that said, I don't want my wife in the boat or out there in the woods with me. That's my time. I'm like, that's not me. That's not me. I'm a people person. I like sharing this passion for fishing with other people. And so I knew that if I were to ever find a wife, that I wanted her in the boat with me. I wanted her to hopefully develop that same passion.
Babe, if I catch a big one, will you let me join a tournament one more time?
I guess so.
How big does it have to be? Any fish? Any size?
This evening?
Yeah.
If you catch one 4 or over this evening, we'll fish
Babe.
another derby soon.
Well, 4 or over? Holy cow.
You can catch a 4. You've caught your fair share of 4s in the last 2 years. So obviously folks ask, how did you meet Sherry? I'm gonna be honest with you. I met her on Match.com. I'm like a lot of people. For years I thought dating sites were corny and that I would never do that. And then somebody actually said, Guck, you're a good dude and you know what you want. You should get on a credible dating site and find somebody who's truly right for you. And so kind of on that piece of wisdom or a dare, I did, and that's where I met Sherry.
Oh, did you see that? When I threw, did you see it?
No.
Yeah, all the bait just jumped when I threw it just now.
Spook some bait.
Yep, right there along the edge. So if you met my friends before Guck, and they would tell you that I was very glittery. I loved shoes, I loved clothes, I loved sparkly things, and I still do to a certain point. Babe, I've been wanting to fish in the sticks so bad.
Have you?
Remember?
Fishing in the sticks. Not the standing timber. Not the stick-ups, but the sticks. Fishing in the sticks, says the share bear.
Fish in the sticks. When I met Guck, like, I just felt like I could be me. I didn't have to prove that I was anybody. Guck loved me for me. I didn't have to be sparkly. I mean, who wouldn't want to come out here? It's like, it's so peaceful and quiet. When I've had a really rough day at school, like, I'll come home and tell Guck, I'm like, let's do this. Let's go fishing. Because it literally just, babe, did you see those? It literally just gets my mind off of everything. It's, I don't know, it's consoling, I guess you could say. So I am the Mars Elementary School principal. I absolutely love Skytook. I love the people. I love my teachers. I love all of my staff. Woo-hoo! Very quiet in the hallway, people. I was very young when I decided I wanted to become a teacher. I didn't have a lot of self-esteem at the age of 4 and 5. I went to 3 different schools when I was in kindergarten, and I had a lot of just hard time making friends. Have fun. Have fun. And when I got into the 2nd grade, I had a wonderful teacher. Her name is Mrs. Little at Bixby, and still friends with her today. And she literally just made me just feel like I was special, and that, you know, she loved me. And so I hung on to her every word. I hung on to everything that she did, and I came home and I would reteach it. I would play school and I would reteach everything. My grandma always said she never had to wonder what happened at school because I would come home and mimic everything that had happened. So that's why I got into education. I just love working with these kids who maybe are in those same home lives that I had. Have fun on your field trip, enjoy. Have fun, sweetheart, enjoy. Guck and I met on Match.com. I still laugh when I hear that because it's definitely somewhere I would never thought that I would have met anyone. But my daughter got me set up on it, and you know, literally saw him on there. He was on there one day, I was on there a week. And within 2 weeks, we'd canceled our accounts.
When I first met Sherry, I knew that we had some common ground. She was a Grand Laker, so I knew that, you know, she at least liked being on the water. And her youngest son, Wyatt, had fished some of the BFL tournaments, so she knew a little bit about what tournaments were and what they involved, but she certainly was not an angler. I don't know that she'd ever actually fished, per se, outside of maybe on the Arkansas River as a little girl.
But fishing is such a huge part of his life. And so I knew that if I was going to know anything about Guck, that I needed to get in the boat with him. And so I started watching him, and I watched him, and I watched him, and you know, watched him catch the biggest fish he's ever caught in Lake Skytook, a 9.5 largemouth bass.
And when I got that 9-pounder in the boat, Sherry said, "Oh my gosh, this is more fun than shoe shopping," and I love shoe shopping. She was shaking.
That's what I was used to having a thrill for, right, was the shoes. So I got to watch him catch that, and to watch him do that, it just excited me. So I'm thinking, okay, you know, could I do this?
But in that moment, something clicked in her mind and her soul, and that started the fire.
Oh, babe,
You got one, baby.
Yeah, look at him.
You got one.
Get the net, get the net! Hurry!
I got you.
Hurry!
Reel and Timmy.
I'm going too much to the reel. Oh.
Good job, baby. Good.
I think it's the best I've ever got. Oh my God! So when I'm out on the water, I just love the simplicity. I love nature. I love waking up and getting in that boat in the morning time just before the sun comes up and watching that come up. There's just so much to the nature that you can't see unless you're there, right, in the moment. I have just got to enjoy so much of the goodness of, of nature, what God made for us. And, Guck has taught me to slow down in the sense of just enjoying life, not things. He and I love being with each other, and this is something that we can do together, as a couple. They're biting.
Yeah, so if I'm to be very transparent about it, you might guess as a middle-aged dude, this was not my first marriage. I've been through some heartbreak in my life, and so if you're watching this, I don't know where you're at in your life, but if you think you're going through a tough time in your relationship or your marriage, or maybe you are divorced, I hope that we provide some hope, man. We're just two hardworking people that love what we do for a living, and we happen to find each other. I certainly don't think it was a coincidence, but I just want you to know, man, that there's somebody out there that's perfectly matched to you, and I really encourage you to find somebody that is compatible. That's a word I use a lot, is compatible. Maybe fishing's not your deal. Maybe you like to play golf, but I can't imagine doing life with somebody who's not soulfully compatible with myself, passionate about fishing like myself.
Todd Craighead and Charles Cowell worked in the same building for nearly 3 decades before they finally connected. Seeing each other almost daily, yet a true connection remained elusive.
I've actually known Charles since the very first day I stepped into the wildlife department in 1995. But because of our, communication hurdles, we really hadn't ever truly connected.
It took Charles 34 years and the approach of retirement to finally reach out.
I'd see Todd, and Todd also has a disability, and he would take other folks hunting with him, and I thought, maybe I should ask him. It took me 34 years. I emailed him, and I said, I'd like to go hunting someday. And
it hit me like a ton of bricks. I had never thought about somebody in my own building that I see every day that had never hunted and yet might be interested. So I just went out on a limb and I said, well, I'll take you.
With the plan set, Todd, who often had people second guess him because of his physical differences, found himself in a new role, overthinking the hurdles for Charles.
When we started putting plans together to actually go hunt, I overthought the whole thing. At first I thought, I'll use technology and I'll take my iPad. So then I thought, okay, I'll step back from technology, and I bought a little dry erase board. And that turned out to be kind of an unnecessary idea as well.
The solution, as often happens, was simple, elegant, and already in their hands.
The blind's kind of small, so we're literally practically touching shoulders sitting next to each other. And I could just type in my notes app on my phone, and it was just perfect. It solved all those issues. It was quieter than us actually having to whisper.
well, I didn't realize that we really did need an interpreter. We could use the texting.
The first hunt ended empty-handed, but the second, colder day presented an opportunity.
Sure enough, 3 deer came out just right on cue, and I did get pretty nervous because I thought, how am I going to pull his concentration away from the gun and the shot to tell him which deer to shoot and when it was okay to shoot?
Todd realized Charles possessed the confidence and skill to manage the moment on his own.
And fortunately, Charles is, mature enough that he knew when a shot opportunity would present itself. And so in the moment of truth, there was none of that texting that I thought we were going to have to do. I just literally sat back, watched,
and saw 3 deer coming. And I kind of froze, and Todd said, "Go ahead." And so I decided, okay, I chose one and shot.
Okay. There's 2 out in the field out here still. We've got time and light. We ought to go look.
Pat.
Oh, man. That is fantastic. Oh, that's great. Man, oh man. Hey, she's big. Yeah, she's big.
It was one of the most exciting, most memorable experiences of my hunting career to walk up on that deer that Charles had shot.
Yes, I was excited. I really was proud of myself.
I would much rather be with somebody that hasn't had near as many opportunities to do it. And golly, these are my trophies.
The hunt doesn't end when the deer is harvested. The next step is processing the meat.
If you take a new hunter deer hunting, don't end the experience with just the hunt, because the first time someone's at a processor can be kind of confusing because there's a lot of decisions to be made and a lot of questions that are asked of the processor. And so I would encourage you as well, if you take someone hunting, be sure and go with them to the processor, because it was a lot of chaos there that day and a lot of hunters, and it's a little bit overwhelming.
Thank you.
For Todd, the experience was a lesson in not making assumptions about others.
I'll admit that I was a little ashamed when I realized that I had worked with Charles for 27, 28 years before that hunt and had never bothered to mention it. I learned that it was dangerous to make assumptions about the people that you see every day or work with every day. And so when the tables were turned and I was taking someone with a disability, I overthought the whole process, probably like a lot of people do with me. Just take them, just have a willingness to be there and plug into their lives and help them experience the outdoors simply with the opportunity.
I think a lot of deaf people would love to hunt. It doesn't hurt to ask. Don't be afraid. Deaf people can show that they're able and prove them wrong. You can do anything except hear.
The takeaway is simple.
Ask them, hey, I'm going to go hunting this weekend. Would you ever be interested in maybe going? Have you ever been hunting before? I would love to take you. It can't ever hurt to ask.
And then when I finally did shoot one, my wife was a little apprehensive of what's it going to taste like. So I cooked it, and she said, "Oh man, this is delicious. I want some more." So I think I need to go hunt again. I'm running out of deer meat.
Jack, a lot of people frown at this minnow fishing.
I'll tell you what, don't knock it until you try it, but my wife and I, as a general rule, are jig fishermen strictly, but don't knock minnow fishing because it's an old tradition and it works.
Well, there's certain times it's about all it'll produce, isn't it?
Well, I wouldn't admit that on a bet, but because we are strictly just about jig fishermen 100% of the time. Even during the winter months, we strictly stick with jigs and stuff. But on occasions, whenever I got a beginner or a greenhorn with me like you, then I'll go with minnows.
You had to toss that in, didn't you?
I had to say that, didn't I? Hey, look at that.
How deep is that? 10?
Well, it's pretty deep. Pretty deep. Yeah, isn't that terrible? Boy, that's a pretty one. Now that's a eufaula crappie. A baby.
That's a good fish. Where do you put those?
Let's put them right there.
Here?
Yeah. That was a super good crappie. I may have another one going here.
You do have something going there.
No, it's my minnow.
Let me move mine right over there by you.
Yeah, that's the way everybody does, you know. You don't want to fool around. When I see a guy catch one, you want to get right on top of him. That way you either get your head peeled or get him at your crappie. There you go, crappie. Nice one too. See, I caught him way out yonder. I kept trying to get away from you. You kept crowding me out.
I'm going to move into your seat here in a minute.
Boy, how about that? Isn't that pretty?
That first one's still the best, though.
Oh, by far.
You're doing all the good, so I'll put this one up. You can catch another one.
Thank you, Barry. Barry, you see that fella over on the back of the boat over there right in front of us?
That guy in the red cap over there.
People like you ought to recognize him. That's Truman Dixon, a famous coach from Shkoda here, and all the girls are crazy about him. And now that he's retired, you see him out here quite a bit fishing. I don't ever see him catch anything except when I'm not with him. That fella sitting on the front of the boat there, in front of him is Windsor Lou Allen, and Lou Allen, he's one of the teachers. And anyway, they're both educators from down in Shkoda, Oklahoma, and they're super fishermen too. Now, I got a fish on.
It's a little easier to handle a whole mess of
nice
line.
One. Look at that.
Look at this crappie.
I want you to get my dip net up here before I lose some of these. Boy, I tell you what, that there is another nice crappie out of Lake Eufaula. Isn't that something?
Look at this. This is the biggest one yet. Steve, you got it?
Oh, I ain't the
Look at
biggest
that.
one yet. You about like that
Boy,
first
Jack,
one.
look at that fish.
Boy, dip that son.
Woo!
Look at that.
What a dandy.
Now, hold him up there. Where that?
I got him. Look at the size of that one. Hey, Truman. I can talk smart now.
Well, there's a nice one right there. Look at that. Boy, that is a... You got one there? No, you got the brush. Boy, isn't that... Look at that. Now, I'll tell you what. You roll them in meal and a little bit of salt. Fry them in that deep grease. Put a few pinto beans on the table with some cornbread. And I'll eat a Christmas dinner that way.
It's hard to beat them.
Outdoor Oklahoma is produced by the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation and is proud to serve and be funded entirely by sportsmen and women and outdoor enthusiasts who love and appreciate all things wild in the great state of Oklahoma. Connect with us online on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. Want to know more about the Wildlife Department? Visit us at wildlifedepartment.com. Thanks for watching.